G'day, well, Scott Picken here. I'm coming for our next Wealth Insight, and it's actually from the Peak here in Hong Kong. And you can see behind me here, magnificent city. I'm right up on the hill here, and it's a pretty overcast day, but you can actually see the Hong Kong Harbour and Victoria Bay down below. Now, this is an amazing city. It's the most densely populated place on the planet. 7 million people live here in literally less than 400 square miles. It's more densely populated than London, New York, just to put it in perspective. But my wealth insight is not about Hong Kong. My wealth insight is about never accepting the word no. And I thought it'd be really interesting to know that, I lived in London for 9 years, and I came across an exhibition in 2002 that was helping people invest in Shanghai property. I listened to all the numbers. It made perfect sense with the rising middle class in China. And so I actually came to Hong Kong back in 2003. I came to Hong Kong, and then I went up into China, spent 5 weeks in China, went up to Beijing, and then down to Xi'an where the warriors were, and then across Shanghai. And at every intent of really wanting to come and understand the country, the culture, and really try and figure out how to get into this country. And in 2003, we literally couldn't buy an airline ticket. It took us an entire day in Shanghai to buy an airline ticket to fly to Bangkok. And after that experience, I figured if I can't buy an airline ticket, there's no ways I'm going to be able to buy a property. It's a pity I didn't actually, because the property market went through the roof. I was back in Hong Kong in December of 2014. We've been aggressively trying to get into Asia for the last 2.5 years. We set up an office in Singapore. We set up an office here in Hong Kong in December 2014. And people kept telling me no, no, no. But I truly believe the wealth insight is that entrepreneurs and the top 1% just do not listen to the word no. And in December 2014, I was actually told that crowdfunding was illegal in China, and there was a good chance I would go to jail. And yet in July 2015, we got invited by the World Bank to present at the very first crowdfunding event in China. We now have an office in Shanghai with over 10 people. This tall building behind me here, you can see it here, it's international, number 2 International Finance Center Tower. That's where our office is here in Hong Kong. It's 88 stories, you can see behind me here in Hong Kong. And so, really for me, when people tell me the world no, it's just really an excuse to go out there and do it. And there's a couple of things I would say to that. Firstly, is that really, in the Afrikaans word no, N-O-U, actually means now. And so maybe it's a South African thing. Maybe that's why South Africans are so successful around the world, because when they hear no, they think that people in Afrikaans are actually saying now. But I can give you so many countless examples in my life. They say that on average in sales, it takes 8 rejections to actually get someone over the line. So my attitude is that every time I hear the word no, it means that I'm just one step closer to actually achieving the objective. And really, it's just a mindset, it's a philosophy of how one actually does it. There was a charity in America, the Migrate Day, that I feel very, very passionate about, and they categorically told me no. They said they'll never let it leave North America. And now we got it in Africa, and it's a thriving success. And really for me, it's about just being clear on what you want, going out there and making it happen, and then most importantly, adding value to other people. But for me, really, the word no is just not acceptable. And in Amazon, it's really interesting. In Amazon, if a manager wants to say no, they have to write a 2-page report. So it's actually much easier to say yes than it is to say no. Whereas in the rest of the world, and most of us in our lives, it's easier just to say no. Even as parents, it's easier to say no than say yes. And so people just say no. So when someone says no to you, just do not accept it, because the top 1% don't accept it. They push on, they get clear on what their dreams are, and they make it happen. It took me 13 years to get into Asia, and now we, as I said, have offices in Singapore, Hong Kong. And I'm quite proud to say that we're in that office just behind us here, the tallest building in Hong Kong. And now we got a thriving team out of Shanghai, and I'm super excited about the future out of China. And really, it could all those dreams could have come crashing down if I just accepted the word no. Make sure that you go out there and find your yes. That's my wealth insight, coming live from Hong Kong on the top of the Peak, a very, very beautiful city, and a place that I highly, highly recommend that you travel to. And as always, if you love this, if this adds value to you, share it with your friends. Our aim, our ambition is to empower 1 billion people. There's only one way we're going to be able to do that, is we share these wealth insights with everybody so that they can get the right mindset, they can get the right knowledge, they can get the right insights, so that they too can go out there and create the life that they want. Cheers. Thanks. Subscribe to the channel. If you like them, you'll get them every week. Cheers.